Hi everyone, my name is Lauren.
And I'm Callie.
And this is the Book Common Room podcast. Hi everyone, welcome back to the Book Common Room podcast. We have a lot we got to talk about today.
Or a lot to address.
We have a lot to think about or process.
Have I even fully processed it?
I don't think so. I know that I haven't. I have read lots of Borges and I've read it multiple times and still I'm like, interesting.
It's kind of fun though. I kind of like the layers of it all.
Yes. It provides stimulating conversations. Yes, I'm very curious what you guys thought about this. Please engage with us and let us know what you thought of this reading.
I feel like we've done a lot of like popular books, even if they're classics. Like we did Jane Austen and we did Jane Eyre. Did we do Jane Eyre?
Yes.
We did.
Yes.
We have. It's like even if we've like gone into classics, we've done pretty big, well-known names. I feel like this is the first time we're doing something that's a little out there.
Yeah.
So we'll see how well it does and if you guys like it.
Yes. Because I feel like in the realm of academics, Borges is well known, but day to day,
it's really just in like the academics know. If you're in college, you read Borges.
But the thing is, but if you're not an academic and there's stories you really, really like, I could wager that some of that was influenced by Borges.
Yeah.
But anyways, here we are, y'all. The other side after reading. What did we read? Just kidding.
What's happening?
What's happening? But I really want to know Callie's thoughts because this is your first introduction to
kind of. I took a short story class and we talked about Borges. Okay, but we didn't like really spend a ton of time.
In. Okay, yeah.
Well, we talked more about Goethe.
Yeah, Goethe. Is Goethe German?
Yes,
that's what I thought because he makes a reference about how like Goethe is like a religion that Germans worship. Yep. And I was like, I am not familiar with Goethe. So anyways, take it away, Callie. What were your thoughts?
My thoughts? Okay, I have lots of thoughts. I was kind of just literally as of like 5 seconds ago was thinking about like, oh, what am I going to say? And I
love that.
I feel like when I was reading it, I was really just thinking about like Inception and Christopher Nolan movies. And it was a lot of like, what the heck is happening? What is going on? But I have a conspiracy theory.
Oh, let's hear it.
Have you ever heard of the genre cosmic horror?
Yes.
Okay. The guy that started it, what's his name? Cosmic horror guy who started.
I love that. She's an intellectual.
Shoot, what's his name? Lovecraft. H.P. Lovecraft. So it's basically kind of this idea that it's like it takes what Borges is talking about, like the impermanence and like there's something out there that we can't really grasp.
We don't know.
So it's that, but it takes the unsettling side of it and creates like basically like a horror story out of it.
Okay.
So there's usually some sort of like God figure, but you don't understand. Like the main character never understands the character. And it's like, it's always a short story. And you get to the end and it's got that line in it. Like what's the one where in the end where he's like, but I figured out that I was actually just some guy's dream. I was in someone's dream. Is that Everything and Nothing?
It was Circular Ruins.
Circular Ruins, yes. You get to the end and he was just in a dream himself.
Like, because he was the one walking on the fire that the people were talking about.
But, like, I thought it was so tragic how he was so happy. He figured it out and then he was like, oh, I'm in a dream.
Well, because it was, like, this concept of I'm a creator, let me create. But the fact that you're someone else's creation.
Yeah.
Was, like, are you scared of that? Or, like, how do you feel about that?
So it basically takes the scared side of it.
Yeah.
And
the horror
aspect of it and made it to a genre. I need to look into if this guy read Borges. Because it feels like almost the same. So if any of you guys like cosmic horror, I personally don't really like it. Because I find it's unsettling. It's supposed to be. But there might not be anything he's said, but I wouldn't be surprised. Do you know who Markiplier is?
Mm-mm.
He's a gaming YouTuber. He created a new movie recently called Iron Lung, and it's a cosmic horror movie. Emmy made me watch it.
This just in.
Oh.
With what you're saying.
Yeah.
H.P. Lovecraft died before Borges had gained recognition.
Oh,
so
dang.
Lovecraft it was more like he was influencing Borges.
Or I wonder if there was just like a movement of that time period, or I don't know.
It seems like they just had similar brains, but
They
never really
might have.
connected because it sounds like Borges was aware of his work, but Borges was like he liked the unspeakable like themes. But it seems like they probably just both had very interesting brains.
They're different genres for sure.
Yeah.
But I do think, because in this movie, or it's based on a video game, this guy's in a submarine and he's tasked to collect, the world has ended basically. And he's in the submarine in blood and he's trying to find evidence to how to like save the world, right? But there's this monster that ends up being like a god thing, like a god type character, and it's weird and it's unsettling, but it's this idea like we don't really understand like the universe in its totality. So like, how do you grapple with that?
It's like back to that quote by him where it was like, there's no description of the universe. Like for a simple reason, we do not know what it is.
And so I don't know. So I feel like if you either had a hard time with Borges when you read it, or if you're still like on the fence, I feel like that's a good way to bridge the two. Kind of like a more modern thing that like recently came out to Borges, which I think is interesting. But I loved it. I love Borges. I knew I already loved him. I've only read, I don't even remember what the short story is called. But I've only read one. But I remember loving it. Shakespeare's Memory might be the favorite of the four.
I think about that one all the time.
Because I just loved, I don't know, that one I was reading it and it made me reflect on life.
I think about it all the time. I think the reason why I pulled out my quote for Tress on memory is because of Borges. Because Borges makes me think about, because I have a really interesting relationship with memory. Like I feel like nostalgia, I feel like I'm such a creature of nostalgia. I think we all are in some aspect. Like Grayson made this really poignant observation. He was like, I think movies these days sometimes rely too much on nostalgia because we're all kind of creatures of it. Like
fan service.
But in some way I feel like I'm like that, where I'm sometimes so consumed with watching like videos of the past or like childhood videos. And so this idea of memory and how it like how it works in our brains and how it's like you can't preserve, like think of Inside Out. You know, there's like core memories. Those don't exist because your core memories don't stay in this in this permanent orb. Like you're always reviewing your memories with who you are now, and that's always going to change.
That is Inside
So
Out
your
2
tea
right
is
there.
tainted. Your tea is tainted. You try to make the brew, like Tress said, but it's not going to be the same. And so Borges, I think, is the reason why I like loved that quote.
And or like the idea of, so when I was reading Shakespeare's Memory, and it very early on, his future self is like, I've written my masterpiece. I've achieved my Shakespearean piece that I'm going to put out. Wait, does he want to put it out there or does he not want to?
At the end, I don't think he does.
He doesn't. That's what it was.
But
I was like, is he saying, is this like a suicide note that he's writing? Like, is he the future? Is he like self saying like, oh, I'm the future version of this person? And I was like, oh, this is kind of sad. But I got to the end and I just want to know how you interpret it. But like, I almost seemed it as since like the writer version of himself died because he achieved his like ultimate goal. Like he fulfilled his goal of writing something on the level of Shakespeare. So that his writer version dies. And so then like, how can he keep going if that version of himself is no longer alive? Like the past version is knowing that he's going to achieve it someday. And then his writer version is going to die. And how is he going to keep going?
Girl.
Like, that's kind of how I read it, but I don't know what you think.
I didn't even think about that.
Oh.
No, which is amazing.
Yeah.
Like, that's what's going to happen when you read Borges. There's just a lot of moving pieces that you kind of fixate on. Because so the whole thing with Shakespeare's memory is that this guy is writing like Shakespeare's chronology or something. So I think a lot of this is about his writing. But I think what I got out of it was when he accepts Shakespeare's memory to the point where Shakespeare's memory was overriding his personal self. So he was losing himself and was taking in Shakespeare. But the thing is, when he was taking in Shakespeare, it wasn't like he was getting Shakespeare's skills. He was just getting the way Shakespeare thought about things or like how he explored things. So then when he did get to his writing, it was like insignificant. It was like whatever it was, like it didn't matter. At least that's how I kind of what I kind of got out of it. But I think there is a death of identity though, like you're saying. There's also
There's also what?
I don't know. Like Shakespeare's memory is okay. I have some questions.
Go for it.
Woo.
You good?
Yes. So my brain is just like working at a rapid pace right now, while simultaneously I've had a physical response to it. I was like, oh, that's never happened before. My brain, it's short circuiting. Just kidding. But actually, that is what's happening right now. Okay, so Shakespeare's memory, y'all. The whole thing is, if memory can be transferred, does your identity survive? That's what I got out of this. Or at least that's my question. Like,
wait, say it again.
Okay. So if memory can be transferred, like this whole thing is like very performative. It's like, can I give you Shakespeare's memory? And if I give it to you, you have to tell me yes, like you consent to it. And so he consents to it and he takes on Shakespeare's memory. And instead of it coming like in a flood, it's like waves of like him getting Shakespeare's memory, that to the point where he's like whistling a tune he's never heard of before. And he like remembers something that Anne Hathaway like said to him. And like if memory can be transferred, can your identity survive? And I feel like that's what a lot of this is. Like even when he gets rid of it, like he gets rid of Shakespeare's memory to some random person on the phone.
Yeah.
Like he it almost felt like nothing really mattered after that point. So he lost his sense of self. I don't know. So I'm curious what you think about that.
My gut answer is yes. I just don't see how you could hold on to your identity if it's not based on your own experiences and memories. Because if you're just taking on someone else's experiences, it's like the whole thing with I don't really understand method acting.
Oh.
Like, you know those actors out there who just like become their character and then they act like that even after they call cut? I've never really understood it because it almost is like I don't know any of these actors that do this. I can't even name one right now that does it. But it's almost like why would you want to like lose yourself that much?
Yeah. I think it's just an example of someone like people. I can name some people. Daniel Day-Lewis, I think, does this. Christian Bale does this. Shia LaBeouf has done this. And I think of Austin Butler, who played Elvis in Baz Luhrmann's Elvis, to the point where he kind of had an Elvis accent for a long, long time after. Yeah. And I like have the same thing. Like, why would you want to commit that much to the point where or like even Tom Hanks, where you like get like unhealthily skinny because your character is like this is an example. This isn't actually Tom Hanks, but like if they're like in the Holocaust and they're supposed to be playing victims of the Holocaust, like they're like skin and bones, like that level of commitment. like, it's crazy to think, but there's also, like, it makes me think of that too in Shakespeare's memory, where it's like, they will be permanently changed forever because this character they played was in fact this reality. Like what Paul Mescal says about Hamnet, where he's trying, like, you're watching a movie and you know it's a performance, but like at the same time, the good movies, you believe them and you don't believe them as anyone else. Like, even when you've seen those actors before, they are this person, and it's because they can be that person and they have to embrace that character as reality. So when Paul Mescal is like, I felt like I was abandoning my family when I wasn't on set, but they're not his family.
Yeah.
It's just interesting to think about that. So it's like the blur of, like, in a way, that is their reality, but also it's not. So
I know. I will say he became Shakespeare. One of my favorite moments of that movie was when he started, like, when they showed Hamlet at the end, and he's quoting, because he played the ghost.
Yeah.
Hamlet's dad? Yeah. Mm-hmm. And he played that character, and he's, like, quoting the lines. I'm like, oh my gosh, this is Shakespeare.
Yeah. Okay, so the short story, Everything and Nothing, that's Shakespeare, right?
Yeah.
He's the main person that's talking.
Mm-hmm.
So I was like, what? Because it was just interesting, because he only felt himself when he was playing a character.
Yeah.
It was interesting.
I feel like I don't act, but I feel like sometimes I feel like that when I read. Like, reading Hamlet, just because we're talking about it as an example, I was able to find myself in that story through these people.
Yeah.
So, like, I could lose myself through these people that, A, is a fictional adaptation of real people who existed, but I could, like, grapple with grief that I felt in the past, or, like, how to handle that and, like, move on.
Yeah.
And, like, keep going in life. But I felt like in the moment I had to lose myself a little bit.
Yeah.
I had to, like, lose myself in the story to then come out the other end.
Yeah.
I don't know.
No, this is making me think. Like, no, I love that. Because I can totally identify with what you're saying, and it's making me think of these lyrics that I'm trying to remember. But it's like, I used to love AJR. AJR was a time. It was a time. I don't really listen to them as much anymore.
They were fun in high school.
Yeah, they were fun. But they had this song called Netflix Show.
Oh, that's such a good song.
And that song I still do listen to sometimes.
That's a good one.
Because both, like, nostalgic purposes, but what it says is true. Because, like, he's talking about growing up watching The Office. And, like, but, like, one of the lyrics is, like, but who I am is in these episodes, so don't tell me it's just a show. And I feel like I always get mad at my mom, because she's like, it's just a show. It's just a show. And I'm like, no, it's not. Like,
it is that serious.
Yeah, like, you literally, like, this idea of finding yourself in something completely apart from you is just insane. So, like, Shakespeare's memory was crazy, because it was like, he wanted to free himself. Like, what does it say that like stuck out to me? Okay, so this is the part that I think about always. He's like, De Quincey, so Thomas De Quincey, who's like, also, this guy, like, came up with stuff partially because he was an opium addict.
That makes sense.
Just need to preface a little bit.
That makes sense.
Like, he talked about how the brain is a palimpsest, and which is like, it's like a manuscript that's been rewritten over.
Yeah.
Every new text covers the previous one and is in turn covered by the text that follows. But all-powerful memory is able to exhume any impression, no matter how momentary it might have been if given sufficient stimulus. And it was just interesting. That whole concept is just so interesting to me. And he's like, a man's memory is not a summation. It is a chaos of vague possibilities.
Sorry.
No, you're good. What were you going to say something?
I was just gonna connect that to Everything and Nothing. My favorite line, because it's about Shakespeare, is, haunted, hounded, he began imagining other heroes, other tragic fables. So it's like but I do think it's interesting, like, why did he choose the words haunted and hounded? Like, that's why he chose to write characters that are heroes, but but why did he put them through tragedies and
like Macbeth?
Like Macbeth.
Yeah, like, he was really a good guy, but he was, like, influenced by a bitter woman, his wife, who loved him and convinced him to do it through interesting means. But, like, it's just, interesting because she ends up feeling guilty, and Macbeth becomes someone he would have like gone up against.
Yeah.
Like, it's just interesting. I love that word, haunted and hounded, or like that term that he uses. Yeah, and he even said, like, when he gave his memory away in Shakespeare's memory, that everything led him to Shakespeare. And I like the PS that it gives at the end, where it's like, I am now a man among men. In my waking hours, I'm Professor Emeritus Hermann Sorrel. I putter about the card catalog and compose erudite trivialities. Like, everything means nothing now. But at dawn, I sometimes know that the person dreaming is that other man. Every so often in the evening, I am unsettled by small fleeting memories that are perhaps authentic. And I think part of this is actually potentially how Borges might have actually felt in life.
Yeah.
Because he was such a student of Shakespeare. I feel like Shakespeare kind of haunts him in that way, where it's like, and I write about this in an essay because, you guys, I think about this all the time, that nothing is original. Like, I really don't think there is.
No,
like,
I agree.
I feel like I'm in that camp of people that doesn't think anything is truly original. Like, even in Bible, like biblical, like settings, like God didn't create. He was like the Hebrew word. This is like getting super metaphysical, but like
we're in a metaphysical world right now. It's okay.
So just come with us. Come with us.
Jump in.
Jump in. We don't know where we're going. It's like Narnia when they're like jumping in the freaking pools. Yes. Like, that's literally what's happening right now. We're just jumping around. No care for like how we're gonna get back to reality. But like in like biblically, I took this Hebrew class and it blew my mind because it was like the original translation in Hebrew is that God called to the light and it came. It's not like he organized or like created it. It already existed. And so this concept of originality, like it's not the way I've always assumed it to be, as like something that's been like completely new. It's like in itself, there's nothing like it. You know what I mean? But I just feel like everything is a recreation. Like, it really is, like, to me. Like, it feels like a recreation or a remix of something that already exists. But like how that has already existed, like don't ask me. Like I don't know. But it's just like, I feel like Shakespeare's memory is like that to me, because it's like Shakespeare is always talked about as like a great writer, which everyone's like, okay, so the people that are like, Shakespeare's so overrated, I'm like, shut up.
Literally, I was like, I used to be one of those people.
Like, you think you are learned by saying Shakespeare is overrated? You think no. Like, I'm sorry. I literally am like, he is a genius.
Yeah.
But the reason he like thinks of Shakespeare so much is like not so much the person, but the concept of him like coming up with these stories and them being original. But the thing is, even Shakespeare was parodying the Bible.
Yeah.
And the Bible was just like, it's just interesting because it's like a narrative of all these people's lives. Yeah. And it's just, I don't know. I just think about that a lot. And so like, the more I think, the more I'm like, I don't know anything.
I don't know
and
anything.
The more I think, I'm also like, nothing is original. Like, and so like this paper that I wrote, sorry, I just like leaked a little bit. This paper that I wrote in like college was literally my like anxiety. I was like deconstructing my life before my eyes in this like paper to my professor. I wonder if my professor was worried about me reading this, but I was like literally like breaking down in this paper. I was like, therefore, this is literally something I wrote. I was like, therefore, the notion of Shakespeare is more of a concept than an individual. Sorrel presents the idea that the works attributed to Shakespeare are not the works of a single individual, but are instead the product of collective memory and the collective imagination of the English people. Like, I was like, what is happening right now? And it's because I was like going off of like Derrida's like theory of deconstruction. But it's like an invented construct. Like, what is real? And then he's like, what I possess are still two memories. Like, even after he got rid of it, he was like, my own personal memory and the memory of that Shakespeare that I partially am, or rather two memories possess me. There's a place where they merge somehow. Like, this idea that do you possess memory or does memory possess you? Like, I'm like, I don't know. Anyways.
Well, I mean, like, to your point, if, like, I'm thinking of authors and stories that I've read, if you were to take that away, who would I be?
Yeah.
Like, The Last of Us, if, like, I would be a different person to this day sitting before you if I had never played that game.
Oh, yeah.
No, just watched the first season and played the game. Like, that's something that's so rooted in me. Or, like, recently, Hamnet. Like, I feel like I am a different person today than I was last week because of the story that I read.
Yes.
Like, the way I think about, like, the themes that were in the story, I think about them different today than I did before. So, like, is the memory changing, or am I being changed?
I'm in crisis. You cannot talk about Borges without having some identity crisis. I feel like I'm going to pass out. I'm having a battle, a war internally. I'm sweating. I'm just sitting, you guys. I'm going through like a physical. I'm having some kind of medical episode. I'm like, no joke. Like, whew.
Do you need some water?
I don't know. I think, okay, hold on, you guys. Okay, let me just collect myself so I can cohesively tell you what is going on in my brain right now. Okay, basically, okay, where is it in this that it says this? Because he like drops words that I've never heard of before.
This is true. I Googled lots of definitions.
Yeah, I did. The notes on this is crazy, you guys. I don't even know if you can see that. I think I might have been leaning too far out of the camera shot. But he like, here it is. He says like on the first page of Shakespeare's Memory, he's like, he's talking about Chapman and Homer. And he's like, in forging these terms, Chapman did not realize that he had carried English back to its Anglo-Saxon origins, the ursprung of the language. Ursprung of language is like origin or source. That's like what it means in German. Mm-hmm. And it refers to like a hypothetical moment when language first emerged as a distinct and separate phenomenon. That's what this is like supposed to be referencing. And so Borges though, like this is what I'm thinking. Okay, this is I fucking be coherent. Okay, he like recognizes. Okay, this is my whole thing. This is my whole conspiracy with writing and reading. This is why I think it goes hand in hand.
I'm so excited.
He recognizes that authorship and readership are a circular process. But like, and so like, at what point was there an original you? Because you have been influenced by The Last of Us, for example. Mm-hmm. But, okay, so like, for example, he also has a short story called like Kafka and His Precursors. Uh-huh. That would blow your mind. Okay. That's literally 2 pages, and it's
Kafka
and His Precursors. Like the whole concept, this is like the biggest thing for me, is that it is not, there are things in life that are a historical event, like language, but it also has a philosophical and metaphysical concept because it is circular in the sense that Franz Kafka, when he wrote stuff, he was being influenced by the things he's read while he's writing. But when you read his stuff and like you have other authors you have in mind while you're reading it that taint the way you read his stuff. So you're not reading what his work was originally already because you already are like, so it's just this constant circular process where it's like authorship and readership, and like what you're writing is not going to be interpreted the way you interpret it because it's subjective. Like, and it always will be.
Yes. Agreed.
Okay. That is my conspiracy about writing and reading. Like, whatever you write with the intention, like, it could still have that. There'll be, like, an intention behind it, but you're getting readers reading it with a different lens all the time. And then you yourself are writing it being influenced by someone else. I don't know.
No, like, that's why I always say, as soon as you publish something, the story's no longer yours.
Yeah.
Like, the whole thing was another thing that's just happened recently with Stranger Things, how I was watching some interviews of the actors and they were like, guys, what's it called? The something theory. Conformity gate.
Oh, yeah.
About conformity gate and how actors like, guys, conformity gate's not a thing. Like, that's not real. And like, I got a little annoyed that they kept saying that because it's not the actor's story anymore.
No.
Like, it's the audience story. So I, like, honestly, if I were a part of that and people were coming up with that, I would be honored. I'd be like, oh my gosh, you guys love it so much.
Yes.
You're coming up with theories and all these things. Like, I just recently watched the last episode. I have not watched it in a long time, but I watched it with a friend a couple days ago. And afterwards, we were, like, bouncing ideas back and forth how we would have ended the story. Mm-hmm. And after the conversation, I was like, you know what? I appreciate Stranger Things for doing that because it was fun.
Yeah.
It was fun to be like, Stranger Things spoilers. It was fun for me to be like, I wish Hop went with Elle in the end. Yeah. I just wish she wasn't alone. I like that she ended up dying. Mm-hmm. I just wish Hop went with her. Yeah. I wish, and then like
she started alone and died alone.
Yeah.
It's so tragic.
Like, I wish some people like, I wish she had Mike. I don't think Mike should have gone with her, but I do think that like the whole Hop story arc where he lost a daughter and then his whole thing where he's like, I'm not losing another one. Mm-hmm. As a father, you wouldn't want to lose another one. Mm-hmm. Like, you love this new child so much that you're going to fight till the end to do it. Mm-hmm. And this is The Last of Us tainting this for me. Yeah. So there's that, tying it in there. Yeah. But like, I wish that he realized it, fought, and just went with her. Yeah. And then Mike in the end could be like, oh, Hop and Elle had to go and like defeat the rest. Like, I wish the pregnant women weren't in the Upside Down. They were above. Mm-hmm. And then like Mike was like, oh, Elle had to go and fight the government and like destroy it. And then she went off to her happy ending. Yeah, like, that's how I wish I did it. Yeah, yeah. But
I love this alternate ending.
But so that's my own ending. But like, that's still very impressive for Stranger Things to have the Duffer Brothers to have written the story. That caused me to do that. Yeah. Because it was fun.
Yeah. It made you, it like encouraged your imagination. It cultivated your imagination. I totally am with that. I do, like, that's the other thing too, is like, there is an ownership as a reader. Yeah. And it makes me think of how annoyed I was when The Cursed Child came out, because it had been years of me creating my own like fantasy of like Harry Potter. And I've like had been creating this like idea of like the characters and like what their life would be like after. And then The Cursed Child came out and it kind of killed a bunch of like ideas that I had. And some people actually like enjoy The Cursed Child and this, and I'm like, that's awesome. But to me, like, I felt like it was like similar to when I watched Gladiator 2. Spoilers for Gladiator 2 as well. Love that movie. I love Gladiator.
Paul Mescal.
It definitely destroyed the character of Maximus, who I love. Because it was like, all of a sudden it was like Lucilla and Maximus's child was Hanno. But like, that doesn't make any sense, or like Lucius, and it doesn't make any sense.
Didn't make any sense.
Because that means he would have had that child at the same time he had his own son, who all he cared about in the movie was his wife and son, who he was super faithful to. Mm-hmm. And like, he loved Lucilla's husband, like he was an honorable man. Like, all these people were like spat upon. Yeah, like they weren't actually good people, or like as honorable as they were. And that really bothered me, because I'm like, man, like, that doesn't make any sense to me. Like, why would that character change so much? And so I do feel like once something is in the public, it's not yours. Yeah. It's a bunch of people's, if that makes any sense.
Brandon Sanderson talks about this with the guy that wrote Red Rising. And it was on a panel. There were a couple other people there. But he was talking about how he writes so quickly, and how one of the things he actually doesn't like because he writes so quickly is the story's never his. Mm-hmm. He's writing it, and it's like kind of just the universe's. He puts it together, and then he immediately gives it away. Yeah. There's never just a moment where it's his story, and it's just like his for him to keep. Mm-hmm. He's always just giving it out. Yeah, which is very interesting. Yeah, to think about it that way.
Yeah. Oh, you guys. Man, like, I feel like you can talk about so much about Borges and like that particular like conspiracy I have, like, about authorship and readership, and just like our relationship with the world, with the experiences that make us. And it's I feel like you can get stuck in here. Like, it is not great. It's like fun to be here. It's not fun to stay here.
Yeah, no, it's true.
And so let's try to like talk about some of the other stories. So we've talked about Shakespeare's Memory. We've talked about Everything and Nothing. The two other stories we were talking about today are Death in the Compass and the Circular. We talked about Circular Runes. Death in the Compass was a little bit different of a vibe of the stories.
I thought it was fun. Like the whole like detective looking for a murderer thing. I think my favorite part was the end when he's talking to the murderer and he's like, the reason I like skirt by you or like was able to evade you this whole time is because I didn't work in a labyrinth. You didn't have to go read those books in that library.
Yeah.
I was working in a straight line. And he's like, and I'm going to kill you now. And he takes however many steps and then like shoots him in the end. Yeah. But like the real labyrinth was an invisible straight line. Yeah. I thought that was so interesting. Yeah. Because like how often do I overcomplicate everything? And it's like, there's just a straight line. Yep. Yep. And my own ego and arrogance is stopping me from just seeing that. Yeah. And that's why I liked that one.
Yeah. I feel like that's also kind of like a way out. Like, what's her name? Ariadne's string. Is that what it's called? Is that her name?
I don't remember. But I know what you're talking about.
I need to make sure.
The labyrinth.
Yeah. Ariadne's. I think that's like her string of like us getting out of our mental labyrinth right now is like to just realize like that things just like are reiterations and influences of each other. And that doesn't make it not true. Yeah. Because I feel like people can get stuck in a like almost nihilism where like it means nothing, like nothing. There's a meaninglessness in it.
And I do think Borges toes that line. Yeah. Like he does bring it up. He's like, well, I'm introducing this idea. So does that mean it just doesn't mean anything?
Yeah. Yeah. But I would argue that like, just because we like, you're looking at things not in a pure sense of like what the author was intending, or like you're writing something and it's being interpreted not in the way you intended. Like it doesn't make anyone's experience or interpretation not true to their reality. Yeah. But there is a reality of like, I don't know, like, you know what I mean?
No,
like,
I do.
There are like universal laws of like,
murder is bad.
Murder is bad. Like that's not good. Like, you know, like there's laws of nature but that exist. But as far as writing and reading and creation goes, like it's a little loose.
Yeah. The sun rises in the east, sets in the west.
Yep.
Right?
Sets in the south. Just kidding. No, yeah. Is that north though? It could have been called something else. Like there's just like all this like, yeah. So the sun like rises in the east, it sets in the west. There's just like, there are things that will be like, I don't know, like there's just things that will always be true. But as far as like these concepts, the infinite, the self, those things are constantly being explored and questioned and philosophized.
See, but then again, like looking at Christopher Nolan and he's taking Borges' idea and making Interstellar with time and gravity.
Yeah.
It's not hard because like time is tied to gravity, relative to gravity. And so like even time isn't like set in stone. It changes depending if you're on the moon or on Earth. Yeah. And so I think that's why people like stories like that though. Yeah. Because it makes you like think about, like I feel like as I've gotten older, I've started to become really picky about how I spend my time. And the job I have right now, I think the reason why I don't like it is because it feels like a waste of time.
I was going to say.
Like I go in and I'm like, I'm spending 40 hours a week on something I don't care about. So like, why am I wasting my time?
And that's your whole life.
Doing it. And it's my whole time just to make money. But also like, what is money? Because like money, like we don't need to get into this, but it's like I feel like money hits my bank account and then just immediately leaves to go to bills. Like I never actually see it. So it's like, okay, why am I spending so much time on something that I'm never ever actually going to see? You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, it makes you question like what is really important in life for sure. And I think that's important for sure. Like, I think it's important that we think about these things and think through these things, but I do think you can get stuck. Yeah. by like being like, well, nothing, like what, like that argument totally could be like, well, why even try? Like, I think of this, you know, this video where it's like BTS background and they were like, I can't remember, but he like didn't dry his hair or like his back or something. And he's like, oh, it's just going to dry. He's like, why live if you're just going to die? like it's just a slip. Like people just make slippery slopes into like meaninglessness, which like, I don't know what camp some of you guys are in, but I definitely feel like it can be a trap. But it is important to think about sometimes because it's like, I think it's important to question those kinds of things. Like, why am I like, and then pivot, like what aligns, like, let me try to make my life the way it needs to be. Yeah.
Like, I'm going to keep working this job because I like something is better than nothing. But then I'm also going to work to find something that does find me joy. Yeah. Like, I'm going to keep doing that till I find something that I feel satisfied in. Yeah. But I also think that's why stories like this are short because you don't want to sit in it for too long. It's good to introduce it and like help you realize what's going on and then think, okay, no.
Yeah. It's
like your life is important. It does mean something.
Yeah. It's like ruminating for a little bit on this thought and then you just let it go. Yeah. Kind of like your therapy of writing. Like, like you purge your mind, get it out. And then you shape it into something that has some kind of meaning. And then that helps you kind of understand your place in the world and how you function in the world. But it's just like, I feel like there's just so many like little traps that Borges is talking about that we can fall into of like self, memory, infinite, or like, you know?
No, I do know what you mean.
Like Lonra, the detective, he's brilliant. But he gets trapped by his own logic. And like memory can sometimes make you lose who you were originally in those like in what actually happened in the memory. Yeah. If you like dreamed yourself into being, do you still have a self? Like that's circular runes. And then everything and nothing is like, is Shakespeare everyone or no one at all? Yeah. like it's just interesting. So that's kind of our spiel on Borges.
Let us know what you guys think. Did you have existential crises? I mean, you just saw 2.
I feel like we all need Advils right now.
Need what?
Like Advil. Or therapy.
Or both.
But I love Borges and I will continue to read Borges and trying to piece together my life.
And you'll see him in everything now.
Yeah.
Like you'll really see it.
It's like that phenomenon where it's like you hear the word for like you, and then all of a sudden it's everywhere. I mean, he talks about that too.
It's true.
What has this man not talked about? But anyway, thank you guys for joining us.
Yes. Okay. Do you want to talk about what we're reading next month?
Oh, yes. Oh, the month of March, you guys. Scrap Red Rising.
We'll do Red Rising.
We will. But we feel like we should do Project Hail Mary. Because there is a movie coming out. And maybe we can get ahead of the curve this time by like reading it together and then seeing what the adaptation brings. But
yeah, and let us know if you guys see Wuthering Heights. Because I kind of wish we did that one last month.
Yeah, like Borges, we could have put this crisis to later this year. We could have done Wuthering Heights.
I didn't even think about it.
I didn't either.
I was just excited. I'm like, oh, we should do short stories.
Yeah.
And then it was like, I was driving here today. I'm like, oh, why didn't we do Wuthering Heights?
Wuthering Heights is really cool. I think part of the reason, though, is like, I mean, it's February.
Yeah.
Like, give the people something easy.
Yeah.
Because Wuthering Heights is a beast in itself. Not in only like the reading of it, but the content of it.
Yeah. But is it a love story?
Arguably no.
I mean,
it's
very heavily debated.
I don't know if love really works into it. Obsession, yes.
I saw a funny, I think it was a thread on Instagram. Someone said that this new adaptation is going to be like, you know how Twilight is or 50 Shades of Grey is a fan fiction of Twilight.
This is like a 50 Shades of Grey of Wuthering Heights.
Like a 50 Shades of Grey of Wuthering Heights.
Yeah, honestly.
And I thought that was really funny.
I don't know if they're wrong there. Like I posted this on our Instagram where it was like, y'all going to read Wuthering Heights after you watch the movie, think it's going to be this beautiful love story, to find out it is completely unhinged. I was 13 and had no one to talk to. Like,
no, literally, I think I was like 16 and I read it, and I was like,
yeah, like it was like, who do you who can we talk to about this? And so now it's really interesting because it's now like part of mainstream.
Yeah.
Culture.
Tons of people are reading it though.
No, so see, that's my thing.
If anything,
it's getting people to read it.
People are reading it, which is awesome.
But my only problem is when people like fantasize about this, because I'm like, this is unhealthy, y'all. The Brontes weren't like, this is a good thing.
Yeah.
Like,
and you know how like we would say Jane Austen would like Persuasion, the adaptation?
Yeah.
Emily Bronte would not like this adaptation. She would hate it. I'm gonna be
Maybe her sisters might like it though. I don't know.
And maybe I could see Charlotte like supporting Emily and be like, yeah, that's not wrong, and Anne being like, maybe.
I think the reason I think Jane Austen would like this stuff is because she has the understanding, kind of like Borges, where it's like the whole thing is kind of like a study on society.
Yeah.
So it's like society does what it will. Like that's the whole point.
Yeah.
Kind of. So I don't know, y'all. But
I don't know. But we're excited to read Project Hail Mary.
Yes.
I've never read it. I don't even know what it's about. I just know it's
sci-fi.
And I heard there's a spider.
There's a spider?
Yes.
All right. Okay.
So that's all I know. So I'm excited.
Yeah, we're excited. And yeah, you'll have to tell us what you thought about this episode. Thank you guys. Bye.
Have fun editing that.